Welcome to 20 Minute Tabletop, a podcast sharing the love of all things tabletop gaming in bite-sized pieces. Today is Friday with Friends, where we sit down with creators from the world of tabletop and have a friendly little chat, which you're invited to. I'm your host, John Wiki, here today with our special guests, Arianna, Dusty, and Wayra from the Rainbow Dice Club. So grab your spot on the couch and let's chat. So first, why don't we start off by you introducing yourselves to our listeners and tell them a little bit about yourselves.
Hello, everyone. My name is Arianna. My pronouns are she, her. I am one of the members of the Rainbow Dice Club, Tales of Three podcast, and some other cool podcasts coming from Rainbow Dice Club soon. I love TTRPGs. I have not been playing for a super long time. I think it's only been, I want to say 4 years now. But I like to say I dove in head first and I have yet to come up for air. So, yeah, I'm really excited to be here too.
Yeah, hello. My name is Dusty. My pronouns are they, she, and I am also a member of the Rainbow Dice Club / Tales of Three / miscellaneous soon to be. And I have been playing TTRPGs for a very long time now. I lost count. I don't know how long it's been. But yeah, I'm very happy to be a part of this podcast and a part of this little family that we've made.
Hi, my name is Wayra. My pronouns are she, they, and I have, how long have I been playing TTRPGs for? I think about like 4 or 5 years, TTRPG experience. Most of it is D&D 5e based, I'm not going to lie. I haven't really played or delved into other TTRPGs until very recently. I am also a part of the Rainbow Dice Club / Tales of Three / miscellaneous other games that we will talk about today, I think. And in addition to that, I have about 8 years of acting experience at voiceover and theater and film. That kind of plays in, I think, helps with the TTRPG experience for me anyway.
That's awesome. I can wholly relate to the not playing for too long. I got into it way late in life, and I'm like, all these years missed playing rolling dice. That's kind of
right.
This.
We could have started so much sooner.
So let's start with just what is the Rainbow Dice Club for our listeners?
So Rainbow Dice Club is, I guess technically, the Rainbow Dice Club is the umbrella production company that we are creating shows under. But it's also kind of like a community for queer folks to come and hang out. We have a really, really amazing Discord, I think, that has become, for me anyway, the emblem of RDC, I guess, like the place where everyone can come to hang out. It's a community, and it's really cool because it started out as just like, hey, we're going to make a podcast. We're going to do like a D&D actual play. And now it's this whole other thing that I think we maybe hoped it would be a little bit, that we would make friends and things would grow. But I never expected it to feel as homey as it does for us, our little community that we have. So yeah, RDC, we play games, and we also we have the Discord where we share our lives a little bit and we build community. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So let's jump into what really connected us here to talk about this interview. You have a new miniseries coming up and in Candela Obscura. So what can you tell us about that?
Yeah. So this was part of us wanting to branch out and try other TTRPGs. I've played a decent number of them before, and I really wanted to do that in like this sort of capacity where we were having fun together and making things that other people could enjoy. Because I personally think we're very funny people. And I think that we put on pretty decent things. So I felt like diving into something else would just be able to like expand our knowledge of things. We all really like sort of like the dark sort of fantasy. I think Wayra and I like the creepy more so than
Correct.
Arianna does.
Correct.
So I think Candela was kind of the perfect TTRPG for us to start with. Because while it has those creepy elements, there is places for fun and whimsy where you can find them.
I also think that I think no matter what we do, I've come to realize we're going to bring that fun silliness aspect to certain parts of it. And we talked about like, there's so many different types of actual plays and audio dramas and audio fictions and things like that. And we had talked about, we always want to be able to bring our personalities into things and the fun that we have at the table, even when it is scary. So you'll hear when Candela comes out, which it may be out at this point by the time this releases, that there's 10 full minutes of bloopers that I cut and put at the end because I wanted to keep the tone serious in the game, but there's so many shenanigans that happened.
It's also like our first series where we have guests on officially,
That's true.
which is super exciting for us.
Yes.
And it's been a wonderful experience to like not only have other voices come to the table and play in a way that we haven't experienced before or enhance the story, just being able to hold space for people to experience playing a TTRPG, not only for the first time for some, but in the capacity for performance as well. So that has been a really cool experience.
Yeah, that's really cool. I love when RPGs bring in guests. Like, I love you get a good, podcast that has a good set of core storytellers that really work well together. But then when you bring in guests, you add that new views, those new experiences, which really enhance and can only grow those stories. And I love when people try to do that, especially in, opportunities like this, which is really cool.
Yeah. It was a little nerve-wracking, I think, like for me personally, because the three of us, we know each other so well and we know what we do and we know how to do it. But Candela we're going back to a more traditional, like there's one GM and there's 4 players. Whereas with our other podcast, Tales of Three, the three of us are constantly switching off.
Sometimes mid-session several times.
Sometimes mid-sentence, honestly. My expectations were blown away by how the group meshed, by how much fun we had, by how comfortable everyone felt with each other. And I just can't wait for people to hear it. I'm very excited.
Yeah, we very genuinely got so lucky with the people that we started out with because they are just phenomenal. They took it and ran. There's always that like kind of fear that maybe they won't take it as seriously as you do. But Helen, Cleo, and Kiwi and Jeff and everybody else who we've started this project with have just taken it and ran, and it's been so great.
Yeah.
That's awesome to hear. So is there anything in particular, I know you said kind of the atmosphere of Candela kind of drew you in. Is there anything about the system that you really liked that, helped you tell a great story or just was a really fun mechanic? It's a system that I've looked at. I haven't played. My co-host Stevie, who's not here today, has gotten a chance to play it. I haven't yet. I'm like you. I love to experience as many different systems as I can. I own way too many of them and I run way too many of them, but I enjoy learning new systems. So is there anything particular there that you really enjoyed that either drew you in or when you were playing it, you just really loved, to help you tell these stories?
For me, I liked the system because it felt easy to pick up. There have been some systems that I've tried where it's been pretty difficult to understand the rules in a timely manner to feel like you're actually getting the most out of it. And we wanted to pick a system that felt like something that we could master pretty easily. We certainly, and you'll hear it, we have to lean on each other to really like understand the full set of rules. But personally, I felt like it was one of those systems that I could just get into and really like mold around what I liked to do as a GM.
For me, I really liked Candela because of the lore of the world. I don't know if anyone knows this about me, and you may if you've been in our server a little bit. I love world building and lore. It is my bread and butter, and I think about it night and day constantly. So when I saw the kind of like the lore of the world they already made and like was reading a bit about the towns and the hidden organizations, I was sold immediately. I also really enjoy that Candela Obscura has these like set concepts like bleed and the veil and things like that. Phenomenons, Candela Obscura, the opposing opposition. But they also leave things quite open-ended. So your characters, and as a DM, I think, you have so much ability to take these things and make them whatever you want. Your imagination can just run wild with it. There's no set rules for what bleed looks like or smells like or how it affects you, and even in the way that your character takes damage in the game. It's very much up to the player how that looks. And I love that. I think it gives so much freedom.
Yeah, I agree with what both of you said, 100%. It was easy to learn. I learned when the first game we ever played that wasn't D&D for the podcast was a 1-page TTRPG called Definitely Wizards, which is amazing and a really, really good time. And I was like, I'm going to run this. The rules are super simple. There's barely no rules. We were 5 minutes in, and every time I did something, Dusty was like, hey, let me help you, because so I realized I'm not the best it takes me longer to pick up and to learn the rules. So I studied for Candela like it was a test, I think. But it is overall very easy, very simple to learn. But then, like Wayra said, the lore, the world, there is so much meat there that you can dig into. One like really specific thing that I really liked, and it's funny because when I first read about it, I was like, I don't like this. But then when I saw it in practice, when you take a scar in the game, which is a permanent mark or damage that you take, you have to remove one of your pips in one of your abilities and move it to something else. And the point of it is to say, I took this scar, this is how it affected me, and this is how it's actually changed the way that I act or the way that I perceive the world around me. And like I said, when I first read it, I was like, but you're changing your character. And then when I saw it in play, because I watched all of the Candela that Critical Role did, and then when we actually got to play it, I was kind of blown away with how creative it is. And it's something that I really look forward to playing with as we continue to kind of play the game.
That's cool. Yeah. I like freedom in games. Like I've gotten in a lot more OSR style rules light, gave a lot more flexibility. Yeah. But I also love the first game I ever played was Pathfinder 1E. Very, very crunchy. And I love a good mechanic and rules that gives you meaning. And one thing I love about Pathfinder 2E2 is like all these things you can pick actually do directly affect your character. And so I like something like this where like, look, it's a mechanic, you're getting a scar, but it's affecting your character and it gives you role play opportunities. It gives you thoughts on how you can use this. What does this mean to you? Yeah, it's changing you, but like you get to really act it out and how does it change your player. I think that's a really cool idea, really cool mechanic. I love those sort of little things that give you something and you can really run with it and really tell cool stories with that.
Yeah. I also really think it's cool because, I mean, it's really reflective of like real life, right? Because I mean, things happen to you in your life that change you as a person, right? And so to your character.
Yeah. I also love that. And it's something that I kind of learned a little bit when I learned how to play Brindlewood Bay. I think I stepped out of my D&D bubble, right? Which I was in for a long time, which nothing wrong with it. D&D is amazing. And it was the game that got me into this. And so I held on to it for a while because I wanted to really explore it. But there's a lot of rules in D&D. And games like Brindlewood Bay or even like Candela, where it's like, you don't roll unless there's a consequence, right? We're not withholding information from our players. We're giving them information that they would know. They don't have to roll to see if they know it. And it's really changed the way that I think about games. And you'll probably will start to see it eventually reflected even in my D&D, because if you listen to Tales of Three, you know that we just kind of do a lot of homebrew. We roll dice, but we're all about the narrative and the story first. So yeah.
No, that's really cool. So when is this coming out? Obviously, we know we're recording this; it may come out already. But when can our listeners expect to kind of see it out there live?
March 8th is when next Sunday. We're releasing our first episode, and the first part I think is going to wind up being 4 episodes for the first investigation. And we'll have that. And then we've already recorded our second group. And then we're in talks with like what we're doing for the third little bit that we're going to do. So it was supposed to be like a bunch of random one shots, but we all liked it so much that we're a little bit in flux right now, trying to figure out, okay, how do we want to make this continue to happen, which is really cool. Because we went in with no expectations. Let's just do one shots. And then everyone was like, actually, this group is amazing. This vibe is amazing. The game. So yeah, we're really excited.
So one thing I also wanted to touch on is you guys have mentioned a little bit here is your show Tales of Three, your D&D show set in your homebrew world. Now, I think what's really cool there, you kind of touched to it, is you have this really unique style that sets it apart to me from other things I've listened to, where you guys rotate who is the DM in telling your shared story, which I think all RPGs should be shared stories. That's what makes them wonderful. But like, you're really changing who is running the story at any given moment. And can you tell me a little about how that works and how you guys have managed to balance that to really work to tell such a great story that you've had going for so long?
Well, first and foremost, it was a trial and error thing.
Mm-hmm.
We had this idea, and I think it actually started off as like one of those, what do we call it? Wackadoodle ideas?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah, it was put in Wackadoodle chat, wasn't it?
We have a channel in our Discord called Wackadoodle where we throw really random ideas that we usually wind up taking and morphing into something workable, believe it or not. Yeah.
So it very much was like, I don't remember who exactly it was, but someone was like, hey, what if we just like switched off GMs? And we all went, let's try it. And so I think we took about 3 or 5 months doing one shots and trying to just really sort of like hone in this idea that we have. What does it look like practically? How are we going to split up arcs and things like that? And we've really, it's a science now. I genuinely feel like we know what we're doing at this point. And that's why I think it works so well in this audio format, is because we know what we're doing and we're comfortable with it at this point.
I definitely think it like boils down to the whole concept of being a storyteller too. Like it definitely plays off of that well. Because when you play TTRPGs, you are telling a story, even if you are a player.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really cool to get to collaborate on the story every session. I find that the structure breakdown is usually like somebody heads a whole arc, and then other people take little pieces. Like if like the DM who's heading the arc, somebody else will take that character's arc and run that for them so that they don't have to do it themselves. Other people will take other little NPCs or just like little tricks that come in. For instance, my character has something going on right now recurringly, spoiler alert, where somebody keeps sending them messages. And as opposed to me doing that myself, Dusty has decided to head that. Thank God.
And I do it when they don't expect it.
Ever.
That's another thing, is we have also been able to create surprises for each other.
Mm-hmm.
Very true.
So these moments that you hear, like when Wayra's character is receiving this transmission, that they didn't know that was going to happen. Mm-hmm. So that reaction is real. So not only have we been able to figure out how this works, but we've also been able to have genuine surprises.
Yeah.
Which is so nice. I was afraid when we first started discussing this that we would lose that aspect of it. But no, we've managed to keep it, and I'm really glad.
So, yeah, I think that, again, and it was a lot of trial and error, and it was a lot of, I don't know if it comes across once it's all edited, because I've had people tell us that like, oh, like you keep saying this person's the main GM for this portion, but I can't even tell who's GMing. And I'm like, that's really cool and interesting, because for us, it's super obvious. But I think because we're playing other NPCs, we're constantly kind of interjecting with each other. But the long story short, which will be fun for me because I love to talk, is we kind of know the overall arc of certain things, right? Like we've come up with the story as a group. We've built the world as a group. Wayra has taken charge of like the overall story, but we all kind of come together and we make a lot of final decisions about big things. So we know like point A and we know where point B is, but whoever's in charge is getting us there in between. And all of that is kind of unknown. And then of course, any NPCs that we play are interjecting as they would, as if they were living their own lives. And so it's really fun to continue to surprise each other, but to be able to collaborate so much and to lean on each other, because GMing is hard. Like it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And you want to make sure that everyone is happy and that people like the way things are going. And so we can communicate that with each other and be really open about, hey, are you good with this? What do we think about this? But it's a lot of planning, a lot of conversations and things like that.
That's really cool. Like it's interesting just how you can manage to do that and still surprise each other. And like, it sounds like you found a really good way to kind of connect that and weave it all through. And I think that's fun because, as a GM, it's fun to surprise your players. And it's, I think it'd be even crazier and a little more chaotic when your player surprising your GM is also a lot of fun and a lot of chaos. And it seems like you guys are going at it all different ways at once, which is really cool.
And it's also fun because you have like a partner in crime, because there's times where Wayra, I think in this past arc, just because we're just off of it, the Oladell arc, but Wayra was GMing that, and me and Dusty would be in like a private message with each other, like, oh, do you think this should happen? Like, what do you think about this? Or this would fit here. And so we're kind of like conspiring together.
Yep.
And it's and then we get to see like the shock and surprise when like the moment pulls off, It's cool.
It's very cool. We all get the fun experience of surprising each other as both DM and player. Sometimes in one session, multiple times.
And you also get to play multiple characters.
Yeah.
Thinking about this Oladell arc and where we're going with it, like it kind of feels like each at least have one extra main character NPC that we're playing that also is its own living, breathing character, like it would be if you just took them and plopped them into their own campaign.
Yeah, we're all actively playing at least 2 characters where we are right now.
I'm stuck with.
So we have like a group of 6, but it's 3 of us playing.
Yeah.
So that's fun.
Yeah.
I love how, unique that is to anything else. And, just in hearing you guys talk, you could tell the passion you have for it and for that storytelling, which is really great. And it kind of comes through. I've listened to a couple of the episodes and it kind of really comes through there. So
thank you.
Awesome.
We love it.
So one last thing I just like to always ask, like, for a group like you, how did you come together to create this, to create the Rainbow Dice Club together? Maybe this would have been good to put up in front with what is the Rainbow Dice Club, but let's end with the origin story. Like, how did you guys come together to create this?
So Dusty and I worked on a project together before Rainbow Dice Club was a thing. That didn't work out. And I was in this mode of like, I want to do this. I think I could do this. I want to start like a queer friendly. I wasn't out at that time, so I was like, I want to start like I'm an ally, and I want it to be like women led and queer friendly. And I was like, but I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I didn't know barely know how to play D&D. I had no acting experience. I did not know how to edit or how to mix. Like, I taught myself how to do everything, and I literally, Dusty was like, if you want to do it, I'll do it with you. And so I was like, okay, well, I have to learn like a lot of stuff now. And then we did auditions. We met Wayra, and we just formed.
For the audience, Arianna's holding up her hands together and moving them around,
like we're
like joining,
like clasping.
hands.
We're together. Yeah. We just meshed really well. We got along really well. We had a similar idea for how we wanted to tell stories. But I'll let anyone else who wants to say stuff.
Well, I mean, for me, that's pretty much the same thing. I'd been doing D&D for a couple of years at that point, and I had a couple instances of DMing, mostly out of necessity than anything else. But I was out at the time, and when Arianna was like, I want to do something that's like queer focused, I was like, I'm queer, I'll do it. That sounds like a lot of fun. Exactly the same thing after that. It was a lot of self-taught.
God, for me, I still remember like exactly sitting on the bus to my day job thinking I want to do more performance, but I also want more D&D. And I saw the posted ad for the audition and I was like, I don't know if I can do that, but I applied anyway. And here I am years later.
It was fate.
It was I still am so glad that I applied for this, as it has been such an incredible journey, a hard journey, but an incredible journey. There was a big learning curve for me as well. Even with coming in with like a little bit of D&D experience, it was nowhere near a lot, and just a little bit of acting experience at the time. So I think we've all really grown a lot since the beginning in multiple ways. And I'd never DM'd before.
Yes.
Either. So like TTRPGs, Tales of Three. Tales of Three is my first delve into DMing ever.
I sometimes stop myself and I like sit back and I look and I'm like, and like, I think this is for everyone, like everyone listening. Give yourself credit and like take time to celebrate how far you've come and what you've learned and how you've grown, because we've learned, I mean, I say we, but me, and I think them too. We have grown and learned and changed so much since this all started, since I even decided to start playing D&D to begin with. And I never would have learned, I have all these new skills that I can put to use that I never would have learned if I didn't just be like, I'm going to try to do this, you know? So do the things and pat yourself on the back when you do things that make you feel accomplished.
Yeah, celebrate that win.
Mm-hmm.
Do it.
That's a great message. Okay, so last thing we like to ask all our guests is to have a recommendation from you. So give us anything in the whole wide world of tabletop that we and our listeners should check out. So board game, TCG, TTRPG, a book, anything, whatever you want. Give us a recommendation.
Besides our show.
Self-plug.
Okay, so I feel like I should say Candela Obscura, but I am also currently hyper fixated on Magnus Archives TTRPG. For someone who doesn't love horror, I have convinced these two to do an alternate universe version of our three Tales of Three characters in Magnus Archives. We do have one episode out already, and there will be more. So check out Magnus Archives. Not a lot of people know about it, which I'm always surprised when I recommend a game to like TTRPG people and they're like, I've never heard of that, because I'm like, I don't know anything. So that's a fun one, but it is complicated, like the rules. So it definitely takes some time learning, but the character stuff is really, I find it really interesting. The way that the characters get skills and level and stuff like that. I don't know if you both have any recommendations.
You stole mine, actually, so.
I did?
Yeah, Magnus Archives. No, don't be sorry.
Mine is Monster of the Week.
Yeah.
It's a fate system, so it's all D6s. And it's a lot of fun if you really liked Supernatural, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, literally Monster of the Week type TV shows. It's very easy to just go on forever or make a storyline out of it. It's a lot of fun, and the system is pretty easy to pick up and learn.
I love Evil Hat's different games. They're so fantastic. I own so many of theirs.
Me too.
Besides Candela Obscura and Magnus Archives, I don't really have anything I think off the top of my head, except for like maybe the board game Munchkin. It's kind of like a card game version of D&D 5e. And I haven't played it in a very long time, but I just got reminded of it for some reason. It's such a great game, and it's so easy to pick up. And there are multiple expansion packs if you get bored of the main game.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I think I actually have the Pathfinder version of Munchkin I got from Reddit Gifts years ago.
That's awesome.
That's cool.
Such a great game.
So lastly, if our listeners want to find you on the web or social media, where can they find each of you and your shows?
You can find me personally at adventuring_Ari on Threads. And that's pretty much the only one I use, I think. And then obviously, so Rainbow Dice Club on most socials. Tales of Three is our D&D podcast. The Candela Obscura miniseries is under a different branch. It's called RDC Presents. So if you search RDC Presents, that will bring you to Candela. And hopefully more stuff in the future. This is like where we've got our foot in the door now, and I don't know what door, some door, and we're making more shows.
Our foot, I think we kicked it open.
We kicked it open.
It's off the hinges.
It is off the hinges, but in a good way, in a fun way.
Yeah.
You can find me personally at Dusty Penny with 2 Y's on most forms of social media, as well as on other forms of social media and mainly Twitch. Possum Streaming. I'm mainly a variety streamer, but mostly horror games. Lately, State of Decay 2 is the only thing I want to play ever.
Yes. We'll be playing that after this interview, actually.
Yeah, for real. So if you want to listen to me scream about zombies, go watch me play on Twitch at Possum Streaming.
You can also find me, surprise, surprise, at Tales of Three or the Rainbow Dice Club on most social media platforms. You can find me personally at Shiny Mythos on pretty much all social media platforms. I'm mostly on Threads, though, as well as also on Twitch, where I am a variety streamer, a PNG tuber, and I want to stream random games any day. Lately, I've also been nonstop streaming SOD, State of Decay 2, and we'll probably continue to do so for a little bit. But if you want some good vibes, a lot of hilarity, and some chaos, come hang out.
So listeners, if we've piqued your interest here, be sure to check out Rainbow Dice Club's miniseries launching on RDC Presents. You can also check out their full backlog, including their ongoing D&D 5e show Tales of Three, and one-shots that include systems like Magnus Archives or one of my personal favorites, Brindlewood Bay. Just search for Rainbow Dice Club or RDC Presents on your podcast platform of choice and subscribe. Thank you so much, Arianna, Dusty, and Wayra, for joining us today.
Thanks for having us.
We had such a great time. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Bye.
I'm your host, John Wiki, and you can find me on Threads and Instagram as John_Wiki_Games. That's WICKEE, and on Blue Sky as johnwiki.morecore.studio. 20-Minute Tabletop is a Morecore Studios production. Theme song by Arthur Rowan, Morecore art by Sita Duncan. Do you want more tabletop gaming fun? Subscribe to 20-Minute Tabletop on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. Like what you hear? Leave us a review while you're there or tell a friend. Find out more on our website, 20mintabletop.com. That's the numbers 20mintabletop.com. Or connect with us on Threads and Instagram as @20mintabletop, @20mintabletop. Thank you, and roll with fortune.
That's our big recommendation, actually.
Is State of Decay 2.
Can we
board
redo
game.
this interview and just do about State of Decay 2?
Can we just talk about...
Bonus episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That is
Maybe we'll look
hilarious.
for the TTRPG version of State of Decay 2.
There
Listen, we
probably
can
is
make it.
one. Yeah.